What's up everyone, I'm Demon Cringe, and today we'll be visiting the subreddit r/ProRevenge. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, so this is a pretty popular sub, and I received a lot of requests to do this. Now, I really did want to record and upload this video yesterday, but sadly, in the recent days I've had some bad weather and all that, and it's been bumming me out and all that, but finally I'm getting around to do it. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Boss mistreats new guys, so new guys get boss demoted and then fired. So back in my 20s, I worked for a large national sewer and drain company called Roto-Rooter, a great job and a great place to work, where I was lucky enough to be trained by some of the most skilled technicians in the industry. There was, however, one supervisor, let's call him Billy. Now, Billy was your typical kiss-up who spent most of the time trying to please anyone who he thought had any influence, the senior techs or power, the branch and regional manager, and loved to lord his power. He made the shift schedules and scheduled time off over anyone he thought he could push around. A typical interaction with one of the big earners, this is a commission job, would be something like, quote, "Hey, need a day off? Sure, just let me know and I'll be happy to help you." While if he was dealing with a new hire or low earner, you were lucky enough if he ever picked up the phone or take a second to hear you out. So one night around the 3rd month of my job, I was sent to a mortuary to do some work. While it was gross, hazard jobs like that pay really well, maybe $200 in your pocket for an hour's work. When it was done, I called and told him that I was taking the rest of the night off due to some chemicals in their sewer making me feel a little woozy, and I didn't feel it would be safe to work and operate heavy machinery. He flipped out and told me that if I didn't get back on the road, I would have a disciplinary hearing the next day, to which I say, quote, "Can't wait to see you there." As soon as I walked in, I requested someone from HR to be present, as well as our assigned safety officer. The safety officer position in the company is very important, as the company self-insures, and any safety violation can get you fired on the spot. I let Billy go first, and he says, quote, "You can't leave whenever you want from your shift, you're getting a warning, and next time I'm going to fire you." I calmly reach into my bag and pull out the employee handbook and begin to read. While I don't remember the exact phrase, it goes something like this. Quote, "If you feel at any time that the situation or job you are in/on is dangerous or may lead to dangerous situation, you are to stop immediately," end quote. There was another section on being inebriated, exposed to methane gas from the sewer, being lightheaded, etc., and how he should go home and not operate any equipment under those conditions. It even went so far as to say that the transportation could be paid for by the company if you didn't feel safe driving. They were very big on safety, as any insurance claims will be paid by them directly. I asked the safety manager if I did anything wrong, and he supported me 100%. Then I asked HR what they thought, and they said, "If it's a safety issue, you should go home and don't worry about your shift." At this point, the regional manager asked me to leave the office, and I hear him rip into Billy like a fat kid into cake. That should have been enough for me, but I'm petty, I never forgive, and I am very patient. As time goes on, I become one of the top earners in my city, get rookie on my 1st year, and salesman of the year my 2nd. Billy gets a reputation of being lazy and irresponsible. My 2nd year at the company, Billy is put on probation, oh my god, and this is where I go into pro-revenge mode. I gather up all my new guys and some of my buddies from my shift and organize them so at least once or twice a week, someone goes there and complain about Billy. We never lied, we just knew what buttons to push to get him to self-destruct. New guys would ask for a day off, or someone would take a sick day during a busy shift, etc. Finally, a branch manager snaps and calls Billy into his office. He demotes him to salesman and puts him on his shift. At a company like this, the shifts become very close. We all walk in our trucks through the radios while waiting our jobs, and we all help each other when needed. During Billy's first few weeks on the road, our supervisor makes sure that he gets all the fun jobs, flooded basement, tight spaces, and generally anything that will get him absolutely covered in poop. And of course, as all of this was happening, I had every single person I was friends at the company call him and ask him for scheduling changes, so he had to explain to about 30 people how he was demoted and can no longer be a manager. Eventually, Billy broke. He started crying to the dispatcher and how he could take it anymore and quit. The next day, me and 2 other guys threw a Billy's Gone party with a pizza and cake at a neighborhood bar, put up signs in the office and made general announcements in the morning when we went to hand in the paperwork. When we knew Billy would be there to give in his 2 weeks notice, he actually came up to us to thank us, and I got the pleasure of informing him that he is not invited. It's not a going away party, it's a gone party. It wouldn't make sense for you to be at the party, as we were celebrating you not being around here anymore. It will be in the end about 20 or 50 so employees at the branch showed up, but still it was a great party. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all I can say to this is a huge props to this person right here. Like, there is nothing better than sticking it to a garbage boss, not only getting him demoted but fired as well. Oh my god. Truly something for the ages. Business refused to refund $40. The courts ordered him to pay $230. Story time. Last September, my wife planned a wonderful Father's Day present for me. Father's Day is in September in Australia. This was to be my first ever Father's Day as a new dad, so to mark the occasion, my wife arranged to have her daughter's face etched onto a dog tag. However, the day before Father's Day, she received the item back and it was, shall we say, subpar. So she came to me and showed me the present early. Now that I've had some experience with the crappy retailers before and remembered to always come prepared when disputing the quality of the goods and services, so I set my phone to record all the audio and approached the retailer. I explained that my wife was upset with the quality of the engraving, and rightfully so. I requested a refund and was immediately met with resistance. To begin with, they blamed the quality of the photo that we provided. Then when I disputed that, they said the laser engraving doesn't do depth very well, and some faces can end up with some shadows missing. End of conversation. They refused to refund and threatened to call security if I didn't leave. The engraver is located in a mall that I also happen to work in. My wife and I left a less than glowing review on their Google page. That was met with accusations of us being unreasonable and threatening violence. Ours is not the only review which had this response. They informed us that the matter has been passed on to the local police and that a restraining order has been applied for. We immediately called all local police stations and we were delighted to hear that neither of them have ever heard about the company in question. After some thought and me being the stubborn bastard that I am, I decided to go forward with the matter on the local small courts tribunal. A month or so passed and our day at the tribunal had arrived. We honestly weren't expecting the engraver to show up, but lo and behold, there he was at Civil Claims Court in camo pants and a hoodie. We met in the room with a mediator who told us that it may not be worth it chasing a $40 refund from someone who is, in short, a dickhead. She warned us that it may end up costing more than the service to begin with, but as mentioned before, I'm a stubborn bastard. We pushed forward, opting to go to the hearing. This was when we heard some marvelous news from the engraver. Quote, "Oh no, I wasn't prepared to go to the hearing today. I haven't got any of my evidence." Ding ding ding. We went to the hearing that day. The register ruled in our favor and issued a notice of payment. The business was to pay $40 within 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, no payment, no surprise. During this time, I have been communicating via email with the holder of the engraver's lease, who in response to my complaint, among many others, had decided to terminate the lease, effectively kicking the engraver out of the mall. My man. While the engraver was organizing a new venue for his business, I had filed a motion for a writ for levy of property, meaning the local sheriff was able to enter the premises and relieve him of merchandise of the value of the refund plus court fees, now totaling $139. I informed the engraver, asking him if he would like to settle this like a normal person or have the sheriff pay him a visit. He was not a reasonable person. Once the writ has been issued, the fee increased to $225. All I had to do was wait, and wait I did. On March 13th of this year, when the sheriff finally attended his new business premises, he was offered an ultimatum: pay the fee or have the merchandise repossessed. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. The man paid. He was stubborn for 6+ months over a $40 refund, only to be down $225 plus $5 in interest. Jesus Christ. Again, huge thumbs up. You know, folks, some people may not realize this, but it really does pay off to be a stubborn bastard, because if someone has done you wrong, you know, if you persevere, you will definitely win out in the end. And I just love the excuses that this person tossed them, like the quality of the photo wasn't good, oh, the machining isn't good, and all that, oh, you threatened us violence, blah blah blah, it's been reported to the police, then later the police didn't even hear of them. It's just a huge kerfuffle. Scam me with a defective iPhone? I don't think so. So basically, I live in Pakistan. For a time period, I wanted to buy a phone which would last me 3 years, so I went to the market and searched for one. Now the sellers that are mostly approved by Samsung, Huawei, Oppo, etc., I wanted to buy an iPhone. Since I live in America and had American dollars with me, it would have been cheaper to buy a phone from here. I decided to buy an iPhone X, not the XS, as I didn't have any major difference. I went to the market and searched a little and found a guy who was selling the iPhone for a reasonable price, 109k in Pakistani rupees. I checked the phone, I inserted my SIM card, etc. Everything worked great. He said he'd give me a 7-day checking warranty. 3 days into it, the phone had a big problem. It would suddenly drop signals, but the Wi-Fi would work fine. I contacted the guy and he told me he would call me back. A day passed. I didn't have a spare phone with me as I sold my old S7. Whenever I tried to call him, the phone would lose signals and discontinued for 8 days. Finally, the phone had its signals back. For the 8th day I called him. The conversation went something like this. Me, hello? Seller, yes, hello? Me, yeah, I bought an iPhone X from your shop 8 days ago. It would drop in signals most of the time, 95%. I would carry a phone without internet or any way to connect to the internet. Seller, yes, we don't service a 7-day-old phone. Click. I was pissed, and I was certain that he knew that this phone was having an issue, so I sold it so cheap. Now, most might say, why didn't I go back to his shop? The reason is, 1, his shop is pretty far from where I live. 2, it's Ramadan, and I'm fasting, so I don't have any energy to move from my bed, except offering prayers. Revenge. I knew this guy wouldn't give me a refund or replace the phone, so instead I went to the market and asked the other people if this guy was at any other shop I could go to. One guy told me the address and told me that he mostly stays at the other shop. It was perfect. This phone will catch signals for 1 to 2 hours if I take out the SIM card and reinsert it, but it's a hassle to do this. I went to the other shop, I sat in my car and moved the SIM, reinsert it to make sure it works, and voila, it does. I went inside. I was new to this area of the market, but I knew the name and shop number, so I found it. I wanted to make it look natural, so I asked a few people around him for the price of the phone. One guy offered a 105k, mind you that this was the 256GB maxed out variant. Then I approached the shop where the guy scanned me and he was nowhere to be found. Perfect. I approached the person and told him I came from America and I wanted to sell this phone. He said, quote, okay, I'll check the condition. I replied with an okay and let him do his job. He said, quote, this phone is in pretty good condition, no scratches on the glass or the side rails. To which I replied, I took extreme care of my phones and would rather keep them protected in a heavy case. He was pretty impressed and offered me 113k for the phone. I told him, can he raise the price? He said, no sir, this is the final price. I insisted him to go at 115k. After arguing for a while, he agreed. I gave him the phone and I told him I'd like a Samsung Galaxy instead. 80k with all the accessories. He seemed pretty happy and gave me a Note 9. He said he would like a 3-day checking warranty in case something is wrong with the phone. I agreed and frightened the tone, but he seemed okay with it. 5 days passed and I get a call from him. I had to give him my number, but the person who scanned me, the convo went like this. Seller, hello sir, the phone you gave us is giving us an issue with cellular connectivity. Can we have a refund? Me, in the most formal but aggressive voice, screw off. You scanned me with a broken iPhone, now you want me to refund you? Seller, but sir, I've given you a checking warranty for 7 days. Me, and I give you a checking warranty for 3 days. The deal's a deal and you're having a problem with the phone, get it fixed yourself as my business with you is over. Click. At the end I got my money back and reverse scammed the seller. I got a profit of 6k and enjoyed going on a cruise. And that right there folks is a pretty sweet example of kicking a scammer's ass. Like, oh my god, not only did he get a brand new phone, he also made a little bit of a profit and went on a cruise. So yeah, everything went well in the end. Well everyone, that is pretty much all I have for today. I hope you all enjoyed watching it, and sorry if there were some errors on my part. You know, the weather is still pretty bad and it's bumming me out a little, you know, impeding my focus, but anyway. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, press the bell icon, and if you wish to support me in any way, my Patreon link is in the description below. And as always, I am Demon Cringe, and I'll be seeing you guys and gals in the next video.